Good afternoon. My name is Danny Ledesma. I'm the Chief Real Estate Officer for Vancouver Housing Authority and the Executive Director of Columbia Nonprofit Housing. And on behalf of the board and staff, we just want to say welcome and thank everyone for being here on this auspicious spring day. We're a couple of spring showers are going to not deter us and certainly help our gardens grow. I'm so honored to be able to welcome everyone who's here, and we have so many special guests. I want to go ahead and acknowledge our elected officials who are here. Our Mayor, Ann McInerney Ogle from the City of Vancouver is here. We have our City Councilors Diana Perez and Kim Harless. We have our county councilors from Clark County, Glenn Young and Will Fuentes. And we have our state representative, David Stevie, here as well. And then we're so fortunate we have representatives from the Office of Governor Bob Ferguson, John Anderson, who's the Southwest Washington Regional Outreach Representative. We also have Tanisha Harris, the Southwest Washington Outreach Director on behalf of U.S. Senator Maria Cantwell. And we have Cameron Cockritz, who's here on behalf of Representative Maria Glusenkamp Perez. I'd also like to acknowledge we have a few of our VHA board members here as well. We also have our staff from VHA and so many folks who have been partners and just great participants in this wonderful project. So welcome everyone. We are going to also make sure that we say thank you to Environmental Works and Walsh Construction, whose very generous donations helped make this grand opening possible. We're going to start off today with a land acknowledgement, and so I would like to introduce Duanna Ricks Johnson. She's on our VHA Board of Commissioners. She is a disabled U.S. Navy veteran and a Colville Lakes tribal spiritual leader and elder, and she's going to open our ceremony today. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Good afternoon. Again, my name is Duanna Ricks Johnson. I am a Colville tribal member and a disabled veteran. And I'm asking that we all be mindful and acknowledge that we are on the lands of indigenous peoples of the lower Columbia River. I'm not from one of the tribal communities in this area. It is important to understand that I do not speak for them. I'm only here to acknowledge where we are. Any mistakes or misrepresentations are my own, and I've done my best to educate myself on this issue. Indigenous people that may have utilized these lands include the Cowlitz, Chinook, Salish, Willapa, Molalla, Umpqua, Kalapuya, Klickitat, Palouse, Wenatchee, Wasco, and Clackamas, and many others. To my understanding, the indigenous peoples use these lands for trade, subsistence, daily life, ceremony, and gatherings. This land we are gathered on has reached beyond colonization. The first peoples still exist and practice their cultural and spiritual ways and continue to live on these lands. Since time immemorial, these lands were honored and respected by first peoples who stewarded them. The environment provides a variety of resources to sustain a healthy life, such as salmon, elk, camas, clams, berries, cedar, and an abundance of water. The indigenous people lived in a reciprocal relationship with the land, waterways, and other tribal peoples. I am asking that we acknowledge that we are on the traditional lands of the indigenous peoples of the lower Columbia River. I would also ask that we pay respects to any elders and veterans that are in our presence today. It is important to understand that Indigenous peoples populated this region prior to colonial contact and had their own governments, communities, laws, spiritual practices, and languages and cultures. These were disrupted with colonization, where the indigenous peoples have endured treaties that were not honored in policies, court decisions, and introductions to diseases and religions. These first people were still here. And we continue to show resiliency by existing and working to thrive, using our traditional healing, culture, spirituality, and connectedness to this land. In acknowledging that these first peoples have continued to remain on or near these lands is important. And acknowledging these lands we are on today remain sacred, as they always have. Thank you.
Thank you, Duana. So to start us off today, I get to introduce our longtime board chair, Susan Dorenzo. And I think one of the things that makes our communities really strong and vibrant are the fact that we have so many people who are willing to serve in a volunteer capacity, to bring all of their brilliance and gifts to be part of a team to create solutions for our community. And Susan does that, has been doing that for many, many years as our board chair of CNPH. And so she's going to open up with a couple of words.
Thank you again for coming out to help us celebrate the grand opening of Laurel Manor. I'm Susan Dorenzo, and I'm the chairman of the board of Columbia Nonprofit Housing. Columbia Nonprofit Housing is the project sponsor, and we are delighted to be opening this facility. We have seen significant increase in the need for low-income senior housing in Clark County, and we are just so happy to be able to do this. We decided that that was going to be the priority for this building. Columbia Nonprofit Housing was established 44 years ago as a 501c3 nonprofit housing corporation to meet the need for affordable low-income housing in Clark County. CNPH develops affordable housing for low-income families and individuals from a wide range of backgrounds, but has a particular focus on providing housing for seniors and persons with special needs. We are working in partnership with the Vancouver Housing Authority. They are the development consultant and consulting manager for the construction of the property. They're also the property manager going forward and providing supportive housing to provide and have provided very diligent work in moving those seniors from a waiting list through the application process, through the move-in process, and I am very happy to share with you that this building is 100% full with residents. Very exciting. I'd like to tell you just a little bit more about the building. It's a 4-story elevator-operated building that has 82 one-bedroom apartments. Laurel Manor is going to be providing housing for very low-income seniors who are age 62 and older, including 17 units that are reserved specifically for seniors exiting homelessness. Laurel Manor is intended to be the first phase of an intergenerational community. The second phase will be on the adjacent lot just north of us and is being imagined as an affordable housing building for families. We thought a little cross-pollination would be good. Affordability was a very big focus for us. Half of the units, so 41, will be available for households earning 30% or less of the area median income. The other half will be available for households earning between 30 and 50% of the area median income, which I didn't do the calculation today, but it's very, very low limits for income. And all of the individuals will be receiving a rental subsidy through the HUD 202 program, which means that will allow them to only pay 30% of their income as rent, even though that would never support this kind of a building. We also thought about accessibility. 5 of the units are designed to meet the federal accessibility standards, which is the standards set for individuals with disabilities. 4 of the units are designed to help people with vision or hearing impairments, and all of the remaining units have some level of accessibility features built into them. There's also some lovely amenities on the site. We have an on-site service coordinator and community manager who will provide community programming, the fun stuff like organizing holiday parties and potlucks. They are also going to be providing assistance for accessing programs and benefits such as medical care and transportation getting to those appointments. There are some indoor amenities that I'd love to make mention of. There's a community room with space for puzzles and watching TV together. There's a computer lab and a private room for meeting with service providers and visiting healthcare professionals so residents can meet in a confidential spot. There's also lovely outdoor amenities including a pickleball court, shuffleboard courts, a dog run, pet area, some community gardens, gazebo, patio, walking trail around the property. It is conveniently located near grocery stores, pharmacies, retailers, public park, and the Vine for public transportation. I would be remiss to not talking about the funding of this $34 million project. They say it takes a village to raise children. I say it takes a village to raise this kind of a building. This building has many, many funding sources, from federal dollars like the HUD 202 program, state dollars, the City of Vancouver, VHA, Columbia Nonprofit Housing, Heritage Bank, Washington State University Energy Program. Some of it is grants, some of it is loans, and it took a great amount of effort and coordination to bring it all together, and I am very grateful for that.
All right. Well, I'm so thrilled to be able to introduce our next speaker. We are in the city of Vancouver and talk about service. When we talk about public service, every once in a while we get to be inspired by a public servant who uses their leadership and their political capital to bring communities together, to provide solutions, and to bring that sort of positive spirit, positive can-do spirit that makes Vancouver a wonderful place to live, and certainly a wonderful place to be able to vote for folks like our next speaker, our mayor, Ann McInerney Ogle.
Thank you, Danny. And as we were standing behind her, I don't know if you noticed her scarf has little bees on it. Well, we were just certified as Bee City USA, so congratulations, very appropriate. I know when you have some time and you look around and take the tour, take a look at these raised beds over here. Their tomatoes are in, the peppers have blooms on them, the marigolds are keeping the slugs away, and their onions look great. So congratulations. This may be the grand opening, but someone is doing a wonderful job with the residents already. So good afternoon. Thank you so very much for being here. City councilors, county councilors, and oh yeah, that House representative from what city? Thank you for joining us. So on behalf of the Vancouver City Council and all of us, we too would like to thank everyone that is bringing this project together. And not just to commemorate the opening of the Laurel House, but to also to acknowledge the overwhelming needs that it will serve. As you heard earlier, we're celebrating that unique partnership that happens to make this happen. So you heard some of them. Let's listen again. Vancouver Housing Authority, the city's Affordable Housing Fund, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, otherwise known as HUD. Keep that in your mind as the weeks and months go on. Enterprise, Washington State University, the Washington State Housing Finance Commissioner, and Heritage Bank. Just a few of those that brought this all together. And we are absolutely honored to join that very impressive list of community and funding partners to cobbling everything together. Together we have built something very special. And it's not just a building, as you've heard. with all of the amenities that go with this. Together, we have found a way to provide stable, affordable housing for seniors who are at risk or are currently experiencing homelessness. That is not going to stop anytime soon. More and more people in our community are feeling the effects of homelessness, as evidenced by the increasing number of individuals needing access to housing and other social services. At city council meetings, we often hear individuals who are coming and sharing their stories of hardship caused by the struggle to find affordable housing, the difficulties of finding a safe place to sleep, a safe place to store their belongings, let alone finding a permanent roof to put over their heads, but also to age comfortably in this community. So I know all of us strive to offer resources and hope and a new vision for our residents, but it is as partners, nonprofits, local agencies, elected officials, both at the state, at the county level, and at the city level, that we tackle this growing and very complex issue. And I think we just do it one step at a time. We have some creativity, some thoughtfulness, some compassion, and providing affordable housing to our community members and ending homelessness is a very ambitious goal. But it's a goal that requires equally ambitious coalition, collaboration, innovation, investment, planning, and commitment. So I'd like to thank the voters of Vancouver who approved their property tax levy. They raised their property taxes both in 2016 and 2023 to help support affordable housing just exactly like this for our seniors and very low income neighbors. Yes, exactly. That 2023 Affordable Housing Fund is $10 million a year for 10 years. That's an incredible asset for us. I think Laurel House is a prime example of what can happen when we approach something collectively and with compassion and a purpose. And I believe projects like these lay the groundwork for our community's quest to alleviate homelessness, and the City of Vancouver is absolutely honored to participate. Thank you all for being here, for your support for the project, for your efforts to ensure that our most vulnerable residents are safe and cared for, and for your commitment to the overall health and safety and livability of our community. And check out what's going on in these raised gardens. Okay, take care.
Thank you. I'm so excited to introduce our next speaker. We are a small little corner in the larger U.S., in the United States, but I think we're an important corner, and we're so fortunate to be able to have our federal delegation that makes sure that our voices are heard and that our interests are represented in Washington and throughout the country. And so I'm so excited that Tanisha Harris, the Southwest Washington Outreach Director for our U.S. Senator Maria Cantwell, is here to offer a few words as well.
Thank you, Danny. I'm proud to be the Southwest Washington Outreach Director for Senator Cantwell. The Senator sends her regrets today that she could not attend. The Senator Cantwell thanks the entire Vancouver Housing Authority and Columbia nonprofit housing staff for your hard work and dedication. To all the community partners and stakeholders and the City of Vancouver, thank you for your collaboration and commitment to providing affordable housing to seniors in our community. Laurel Manor is important for our seniors. Laurel Manor is in part made possible thanks to the $21.4 million from a low-income housing tax credit, covering 63% of the cost of the project. Senator Cantwell is proud to be a supporter of the low-income housing tax credit, and that is why she has reintroduced just last week the Affordable Housing Credit Improvement Act, a bipartisan bill that would expand the existing low-income housing tax credit program and increase the number of affordable homes built in the United States. The seniors here at Laurel Manor will enjoy many community events, holiday parties, and potlucks, and there will be spaces for all of them to gather, to work together, to be outside in the community, these beautiful raised garden beds, and also be able to work with community managers to help with social services. Senator Cantwell enjoys the fact that the Vancouver Housing Authority will build more affordable housing on the lot next door. This project will provide homes to local families, and maybe some of the seniors here living here will have their children and even grandchildren living just a few steps away. We have to build more housing for our seniors. Between 2019 and 2022, the number of homeless people aged 55 and older in Clark County increased by 34%. We can expect this number to continue to climb. By 2040, our state is projected to have more than double the number of senior citizens we have now. In other words, we have a growing population that depends on fixed income in a time of high cost. We have a housing crisis that we urgently need to address. One of those solutions is indeed the low-income housing tax credit. Building housing brings down costs for everyone. By building more affordable housing, the low-income housing tax credit brings down costs and will continue to bring down costs for all citizens throughout the state of Washington. So if we build more housing like Laurel Manor, we can bring down those housing costs, we can provide supportive living, and as we've heard already, age in place with dignity and respect. The housing crisis is too urgent to wait. Senator Cantwell applauds and thanks those in our communities who are willing to take on the housing crisis and come together to do what's right by all citizens. So again, congratulations to everyone who made this day possible, and to all the residents of Laurel Manor, welcome home. Thank you.
We have a second representative from our federal delegation who's here. And so I get the honor of introducing Cameron Cockritz, who is the Deputy District Director for U.S. Representative Marie Glusenkamp Perez, who will offer some words.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you, everyone, for having me today. It's a huge honor to take part in this celebration. This is so exciting. Someone else from our team was here during the midway point, and I think this is just a testament of the work and diligence that a project like this takes. Again, my name is Cameron Cockritz. I'm Congresswoman Glusenkamp Perez's Deputy District Director, and the Congresswoman wanted me to share her deepest appreciation for allowing us to be part of today's grand opening, and sends her sincere apologies that she can't be here in person to join. As a working mom and small business owner, the Congresswoman has heard from neighbors and people that she works with how the housing shortage and rising housing costs have become an increasing challenge. Finding a safe, quality place to live shouldn't break the bank, and the Congresswoman will continue her work in supporting initiatives that boost the housing supply, support the construction trades talent pipeline, and make housing more affordable for both working families and for folks on fixed incomes. One of the smartest long-term investments we can make as a nation is funding initiatives that support accessible and affordable housing like Laurel Manor. That is why the Congresswoman is supportive of programs that boost housing supply by awarding grants to state, local, and regional jurisdictions that reform restrictive zoning and land use policies that prevent housing construction. Also want to give huge kudos to the City of Vancouver. I think it was, $200,000 that waived in fees. So huge piece of getting through that red tape. Addressing the housing shortage will take diligence and an all of the above approach. The Congresswoman is a proud co-sponsor of the Constructs Act, which is the Creating Opportunities for New Skills, Training, and Rural and Underserved Colleges and Trade Schools Act. The Constructs Act would create a grant program to fund and develop residential construction education and certification programs at community college, junior colleges, and trade schools. This legislation will expand training in the construction trades to increase the supply of housing units and lower costs. The completion of Laurel Manor, I think, is a great example of the shared vision and the commitment and time it takes to help address our housing shortage. So continuing to bolster our workforce to continue the work and chipping away at this housing shortage is essential. This project didn't happen overnight. It is through this hard work, collaboration, and dedication of the leaders in this community that this project was made possible. Laurel Manor is an exciting and important investment in Vancouver and Clark County and beyond. And again, thank you for letting me take part in today, and it is an honor to stand here amongst so many visionaries. Thank you.
All right, I think we're hearing a theme about how important collaboration and partnership is. And so I want to, before I introduce our next three speakers who have been very important partners on this project, I want to just take a moment to thank the real estate staff at VHA who've worked on this project for so long. I want to thank our construction manager, Scott Davidson. I want to thank our construction project manager, Samuel Yerke. And we should probably thank his son Sawyer for letting us use so much of his dad's time. And then I also want to make sure that we thank Josh Ollinger, our development manager, and Victor Caesar, my predecessor, who's not here today, but who has had a lot of vision for all of the wonderful projects that we've been seeing lately. And I just feel so grateful that we've been able to continue the level of excellence on the real estate team. So, this project is a beautiful project, and we're really excited to be able to introduce our next speaker and our project partner, Nazreen Al-Tamimi. She's a project architect, the social justice coordinator with Environmental Works, which is our project's architectural partner. So.
Thank you, Danny. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, a little nervous. It's really, really very humbling to be standing here and speaking to you all after listening to everyone before me. Just thinking of all the different organizations, both public and private entities that worked and came together for the seniors in our community. We at Environmental Works, the Community Design Center at Seattle, are very, very honored to be part of this partnership with the Columbia Nonprofit Housing, Vancouver Housing Authority, and Walsh Construction, so that we could actually bring their vision of a home for seniors where they can live comfortably and age gracefully in place. Now, my name is Nazreen Al-Tamimi, and I'm joined here today with the rest of the Laurel Manor team in the audience. We have Aaron Allen, who is also the project architect and a studio director at our office. Bill Singer, right next to him, who's the director of housing and a project architect. Michael Carasoza, a project manager, and our executive director, Jess Zimbabwe. And Martha, who's Jess's kid. Now, throughout the design phase, it was really important for all of us, ourselves, Vancouver Housing Authority, and Walsh Construction, to work together to create this vision of Laurel Manor, a vision for a space where it would be a home physically, socially, and even symbolically for the seniors that are living here today. Aging gracefully in place was a central theme, and it went into many elements that went into designing this building, starting with their own personal spaces. If you look at the entryways into their units, there's a little shelf and a pin board so they can personalize it and feel like it's their own home. To other social features, which have been spoken about before, but I will repeat them, like a multi-purpose room, a community space where they can all do things together, an amenity room up on the second floor, which they're calling the computer lab, where there's also a library. And even the laundry rooms that you find on every level have been made large enough so that there's seating so they can have a chat together while they're doing their laundry. And then we move out to the exterior spaces. And this is also, social interaction, being able to be active is also part of seniors being able to age gracefully in place. So we created a courtyard that allows them to garden. It has some sports fields and has a walking path that's all around it. And of course, seniors also like their pets. So we gave them a little pet relief area that they have here as well. The multi-purpose room also has views on 3 sides of it. So even though they're inside, they still get a view of the outside, whether it's the courtyard or the 2 beautiful trees on the front that we've preserved and kept, and the, and the pet relief area if they have their pets outside. So this exterior courtyard has developed into a space where the seniors can sit, talk, play, walk, and garden, which promotes their healthy living. Now, home has also symbolically been included throughout the building. When you look at the monument sign that has the shape of a home, and you look at their unit signs outside each of their doors, also has the shape of the home. And we've also tried to help the seniors with wayfinding in the building, where there's a color on each level. So everybody knows, I live on the green floor, or I live on the blue floor, and they never get lost in the building. Now, it's one thing to have a vision and design for that vision, but it's another thing to actually come and see it in use. So I was extremely lucky to be here 2 weeks ago with a professional photographer to take pictures of the building on the outside. And it warmed my heart to walk into the building and see people scattered all over the place. There was someone who actually walked out to one of those garden beds and had garden tools in her hands. There was a few people walking their pets outside, and I was extremely lucky to meet Barbara, who I think is somewhere in the audience, sitting in the multi-purpose room building a puzzle. Hi, Barbara. And she was so kind, talking to me and telling me all about how she feels living in this space, and even got me to see her unit. So from finished punching and seeing a building and there's all these units completely empty, to actually walking into it furnished and personalized with one of the residents using the space, was just the best thing ever. It's the best thing you can do for an architect after they're done with a project. It was very, very heartwarming. So Laurel Manor, and I know people have already said this, but I'm going to repeat it, is only the beginning, because this is the first phase of this multi-generational development that hopefully will bring families here. And there's nothing better for seniors than seeing kids around them. So we look forward for that second phase happening. We want to thank you all very, very much, Columbia Nonprofit Housing and Vancouver Housing Authority and Walsh Construction, for giving us the opportunity to be part of this beautiful, beautiful project. Thank you.
All right. So I now get to introduce Chelsea Edgecombe. She is the Energy Program Manager for Washington State University's Energy Program, who's going to talk about some amazing solar items that we have in the buildings. Please come on up.
I'm pretty tall. So. Hi, and thank you for the introduction. I'm proud to serve as an administrator for the Community Solar Expansion Program, which is housed under the Washington State University Energy Program. It was signed into law in 2022, and this program was designed to ensure that low-income communities who are often left out of clean energy initiatives can directly benefit from renewable technology. Today, I'm excited to share a few words about the impact of bringing solar power to Laurel Manor. I also want to extend a sincere thanks to Clark Public Utilities for their invaluable support in helping making this solar project a reality. Columbia Nonprofit Housing has a long-standing commitment to providing safe, affordable housing, especially for low-income seniors and individuals with special needs. And with the installation of solar energy at Laurel Manor, they're taking this mission one step further towards sustainability and long-term affordability for the residents they serve. This project represents a major milestone. For Laurel Manor is the first Columbia Nonprofit Housing property to install photovoltaic solar system, and the second project to receive certification by the Community Solar Expansion Program. Through our program, an incentive payment was awarded to support the majority of the project's installation costs, and the system being installed has a capacity of 132 kilowatts direct current and is expected to produce about 146,000 kilowatt hours of clean energy every year. And what does this mean in practical terms? It means significant cost savings, and with regular maintenance, the panels can continue performing for decades, resulting in an estimated total energy savings in excess of $350,000. These savings will be directed towards reducing Laurel Manor's overall operating costs. And we see this as more than just a financial win, it's a powerful example of equity in action. Cost savings from this installation will support long-term affordability and allow resources to be redirected towards residents and services and quality of life improvements for residents. To date, the Community Solar Expansion Program has certified 22 projects benefiting more than 150,000 individuals, and we're proud to support this initiative and look forward to the positive impact it'll bring to Laurel Manor residents. Thanks.
I'm so excited that we are here today and that we're celebrating today. And we could not have gotten where we are today without our fabulous general contractor, Walsh Construction. Megan and the team, not only do we want to thank you for this wonderful project, but just want to continue to thank you for the way that you partner with us and the way that when the going gets tough, we look for solutions. And we just really want to extend just so much thanks and gratitude for being on this team. So come on up and tell us some more.
Thanks so much, Danny. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here today on this beautiful spring day to celebrate the grand opening of Laurel Manor. I'm Megan Hertag. I'm a project manager with Walsh Construction. I was the project manager on this job. I want to briefly give credit to my team, the amazing team that helped us create this community-based project. The head of our Vancouver office, Chuck Moore, who's in the back there, was the senior project manager for Laurel Manor. Chuck has also been helping VHA and Columbia Nonprofit Housing build affordable housing for the Vancouver area for over a decade, and has built a strong, trusting relationship between our organizations. Also want to give a shout out to Blake Fleury, who I don't believe is here today, our superintendent extraordinaire, who kept us all on task and was able to deliver the project 5 weeks early. Also a big thank you to our project engineer, Hunter Lundmark, who also I don't think made it, unfortunately, for keeping all the documentation flowing and making sure all of our subcontractors were very successful while on site. Walsh was invited to be on this team back in early 2021 during the conceptual design phase. We were excited to work with our long-term partner VHA, but we were also equally intrigued by the concept of creating a space for a senior community to grow and develop. At Walsh, we truly believe that the work we do helps build stable communities and empowers the people in them to feel proud of where they live. During the design phase, we got to grow our relationship with Environmental Works. EW brought a deep passion to the project, which is shown in the careful consideration of spatial design and material selection, which Nazreen spoke about. EW's attention to detail and willingness to consider all perspectives during design and throughout construction was invaluable. One of the areas we collaborated on closely with EW was the sustainability goals for this project. This project was designed and constructed to meet the Evergreen Sustainable Development Standard. From the garden boxes to the bocce courts, the landscape design was thoughtful and responsive to the future residents. As Chelsea spoke about, the solar panels help power this building, which also does not use fossil fuels. The mechanical and plumbing systems of this building are all electric. Materials and systems were selected to ensure a healthy living environment for the residents, and social spaces were thoughtfully designed to build community and keep our seniors active and engaged. One thing Naz didn't talk about was the stair, which was specifically designed with a lower step so that it's more comfortable to go up and down to help keep people active. Overall, this project team was a joy to work with, and we were all really sad when the project ended. But we hope we created an environment that fosters community and that the residents are proud to call home. Thank you.
All right, before I introduce our final speaker and we get up for the glamour shot, I do want to give a shout out to more folks at VHA, and I want to say some thanks to the operations side of VHA. Bunk Morin, our Chief Operating Officer, Andrea Bean, our Director of Property Management, and miraculous Marjorie Anderson, our Property Manager. This team is phenomenal, and they are inextricably linked in partnership with our residents every day, and they're part of that resident experience. And we are so thankful that we have such a superb team that walk with our residents every day. And our next speaker is Joe Hansen, and Joe is going to tell us what it's like to live here at Laurel Manor. Come on up.
I guess I'm last. Anyhow, the circumstances that brought me and Casey here were the portable living and the apartment availability was not out there, and it stumbled us for a while because we had always had comfort and home, And that's what brought us to Laurel Manor. And then what has changed for the better here is the sense of community. I can't emphasize that much. I can't emphasize that. It's just the sense of community, the warmth, the staff. The staff is overwhelmingly great. And then what do you like most about Laurel Manor is, I think, the sense of community. The people are like, it's comforting to be here. It's like being in a sense of safeness, in a sense of, it's a very good community, and it's built with love, lots of love. And then the community activities and the property, there's a lot to do. There's people that do stuff, there's people that look out for people, there's people that just are great people. And what are you looking forward? It's growing. This place grows. It's a community that you can't understand unless you're here. And I mean, the people are good, but the staff, I have to emphasize on the staff. The staff is really good at what they do. They give everybody what they need. And it's just the overwhelming love that you get from everything. And all I can say is I'm looking forward to the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. That's a great way to end this. We're going to move into our ribbon cutting photo extraordinaire. Before we do that, I just want to let folks know that after the ribbon cutting, the wonderful staff at VHA will be leading some tours if you want to take a deeper look. And on behalf of everyone here, we want to just thank you all for not only being such great partners, being part of this, but thank you for taking time out on a Friday during challenging times to take a moment to celebrate this win. The work ahead of us is we've got a lot of work to do, and it may be difficult and challenging. And so being able to be in community to celebrate this important milestone feels wonderful. Thank you so much for your time, and let's go over to the ribbon cutting now.